Try this one silent move, and watch how people start fearing your presence. Two men walk into a crowded room. One is loud, smiling, shaking hands quickly. He talks fast, trying to be noticed. His energy screams, "Look at me!" He craves attention, approval, validation, presence. The other man says nothing at all. He walks slowly, calmly, without a smile. He doesn't look around for approval. He doesn't reach for conversation or praise. He simply enters, and something shifts instantly. The noise starts to die down quietly. People notice without knowing why. Eyes follow him like he's magnetic. The air changes as he moves through. He takes a seat like it's a throne. No greetings, no effort, no noise. And still, he becomes the center. People wonder, who is this man? Why is he so composed and calm? Why do we feel drawn to him? He hasn't spoken a single word, but somehow, he dominates everything. That's not charisma. That's not noise. That's the raw power of silence, and it speaks louder than words ever will. They told you to speak louder, to smile bigger, to stand taller, to fill the room with noise. They said confidence means being visible, but what if that's all wrong? The world celebrates loud personalities, but noise doesn't equal influence. Loud doesn't always mean respected. In fact, it often hides fear, a desperate need to feel important. Real power doesn't beg attention. It doesn't announce itself loudly. It walks in and takes space. It speaks when needed, never more. And when it's silent, people listen. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need the spotlight constantly. You just need to master presence. And presence isn't created by words. It's created by control and restraint, by knowing when not to speak, by choosing stillness over reaction, by making silence your first language. That's where respect actually begins. When tension rises, people react. They talk fast, defend, explain everything. They think speaking equals taking control. But real control is the opposite. Real control is stillness under fire. This is the tactical silence rule. You don't fight noise with noise. You don't meet chaos with panic. You let the storm pass, silently. And that silence makes people tremble. Here's how it works exactly. When someone insults you, stay silent. When they challenge your ideas, pause. When they expect reaction, give none. You sit with it. You wait. Your stillness creates psychological pressure. It makes them uncomfortable, exposed, weak. It turns attention back on them, because the one who reacts first always loses the frame and control. Power doesn't speak without purpose. It waits until silence changes dynamics. And when you do speak, eventually, every word hits like thunder. That's what tactical silence creates. Weak people react to everything. They argue, defend, justify, explode. They're slaves of emotional urgency. Every insult becomes a personal war. Every opinion demands a response. But here's the truth, brother. Silence is emotional self-control in action. It's your invisible armor against chaos. Because not every attack deserves reaction. Not every voice deserves your energy. When they provoke you, stay quiet. When they mock you, look through them. When they seek guilt, don't explain. The less you give, the stronger you seem, the stronger you are. Imagine this in real life now. Someone publicly disrespects you, testing boundaries. Everyone watches, expecting drama, conflict, fire. But you don't give them what they want. You just hold your ground, silent. They talk more, you say less. They break first, you stay still. And the crowd starts to shift. Because in the silence, there's dominance. That's how silence protects and commands. Some people speak and no one listens. Others stay silent and command the room. That's not luck. That's presence. And presence is built, never begged. It starts with rhythm, posture, and restraint. Next time you enter a room, pause. Don't look around seeking approval. Don't rush to fill the silence. Walk slowly. Breathe deeply. Own your space. Use your body like a weapon. Hold eye contact without staring. Don't force a smile. Don't shrink. Sit or stand like you belong there, even if no one knows who you are, especially then. This is what psychologists call dominant presence bias. People assume you're powerful, simply because you act like you don't need to prove anything. That's rare, and rare is respected. People sense leadership in stillness, in measured steps and calculated pauses. They lean in without knowing why. They adjust to your energy, not the opposite. That's when silence becomes presence. Most people feel the need to explain why they're pulling back, why they're done, why they're no longer available. But high-value people don't announce exits. They just disappear and let the silence speak. This is what creates psychological tension. When your absence comes without warning, it triggers uncertainty, discomfort, and curiosity. People begin to question their behavior. They replay every word they said to you. You didn't yell, you didn't argue, you didn't give a final speech, you just vanished, and that changed everything, because your silence became a mirror. It made them reflect on what they did wrong. Psychologists call this a perceived status shift. When you're no longer available, you seem higher value. Scarcity increases perceived importance instantly, and when people lose access to you, they start chasing what they once ignored. This isn't about revenge, it's about resetting the power dynamic. You don't beg to be respected, you remove yourself and become unforgettable. Let your silence be the consequence. Let's make something clear. Silence is not weakness, it's not fear, it's not avoidance. It's power in its most controlled form. It's presence without performance. You've seen how it works, how silence disarms conflict, how it protects your emotions, how it makes you the one in control, and how it creates lasting respect. Now it's your turn to apply. Today, choose one situation, one moment where you'd usually explain yourself, or defend, or argue, or overthink. But this time, do nothing. Hold your posture. Let your silence carry the weight. Don't fidget. Don't explain. Don't react. Let them wonder. Let them feel the shift. Let the energy speak for you. And when it happens, because it will, when they treat you differently, when they lean in, hesitate, adjust, you'll understand what few people ever do. Silence isn't empty. It's full of power if you know how to use it. Most people talk because they're afraid. Afraid of being ignored. Afraid of not being enough. Afraid that silence will expose them. But you learned how to turn silence into a weapon, into presence, into power. You've stopped begging for attention. You've stopped over-explaining. You've started commanding the room without a word. That's rare. That's elite. That's intentional. And in a world full of noise, the one who stays quiet is the one they never forget. If this video hit different, if it felt like something inside you shifted, then it wasn't just content, it was a signal. Welcome to the Silent Order. Subscribe now, or stay loud and stay ordinary.